When it comes to building AI automations or AI agents, whatever you want to call it, you may be thinking, this is a little too technical for me. There's absolutely no way that I could build anything of value for my business. So you keep it at arm's length, or you may offload it to an agency that builds things that kind of work. They're kind of useful, but you're not sure if anyone's actually going to use it. And then they put you on a retainer, and then they leave, and then you have no idea what they built or how to maintain anything, and you just wasted a bunch of money. Well, in this video, I want to explain to you the process of working with AI automation and how much technical knowledge you actually need to have to make it work for your operations. And the spoiler alert is it's not very much. If you can explain your business with natural language, like you are talking to your wife when she rolls her eyes back when you talk too much about your day and the challenges and what this person did or what you wish would have happened. I mean, you could go to your local LLM chatbot in ChatGPT or Claude and just speak to that and then ask, how do I make this easier? How do I streamline my operations? And it'll probably tell you. It will give you some list of things you can do, and then you can ask, well, can you go ahead and do that for me? And it'll say, of course. What a great suggestion. You are so smart and intuitive to even be asking or talking to me. And it will do that because we all know that, ChatGPT and Claude they just want to suck up to you. It's in the model. They want to make sure that you feel great using them as a working iterative partner. Well, that was a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to step back and say it really is actually that easy. If you haven't jumped into, I would say, try Claude and ask those types of questions, and you should do that right now. Just shut this video off and just go do it. Then you come back and go in the comments and tell me how it went for you. But that's really at the basis. You don't need to know anything technical. Now, if you want to actually build things out and make them work long-term and reliably in your business, then you will need to go a little deeper, understand a little bit of the technical, but it's not anything new. It's not a new skill. It really is just understanding the house that developers live in. That all AI agents and these workflow automations, all they are is just code. Code that did things in the past is the same code that's doing things now, except for now you can put AI into it to kind of give you some additional context around non-structured data. So it can actually pull reasoning and things out of, information, and then it can spit out in natural language, which is good and which is bad. It can be a really great thing for your business if you're trying to do things internally that's not customer facing, like organizing files, making sure that things are synchronized, deleting things, cleaning up hard drives. Incredible. It can also be really great if you need quick touch points in your business to ensure that the customer journey doesn't get dropped. Because let's face it, your business runs on relationships. I get it. But not every single touch point has to be from a human. I bought a house at the beginning of the year, and it was the first time my wife and I bought a house. And we needed to find a loan officer, and we didn't know we didn't have any loan officers in our network. So what do? We reached into our friends and family and asked, do you have any referrals for a loan officer? And we got a couple of numbers. And we reached out. And surprisingly enough, I got voicemails. And then I didn't hear anything. And then they called me back when I wasn't available. So then I tried calling back and they weren't available. And it was an absolutely horrible experience. I do not recommend it. And I do not recommend you as a business owner to ever give anyone that experience. You can be the best at what you do, but there's no reason in this day and age for someone to reach out and not get a response immediately, even if it's from a robot, even if it's from a large language model, just saying, hey, got your call. Sorry I missed you. Give you a call back in just a second. And then you can even go a step further now with AI saying, hey, Tim, thanks for the call back. I think you might be calling about your loan application. Sorry I missed your call. It's processing. I'll let you know when I have more information. You can do that with AI today, and you could build it yourself today. You wouldn't need to hire a developer. You wouldn't need full stack engineers. You would just need to have a little bit of understanding of what's happening behind the hood to be able to make this happen. Now, one thing that we have to address when it comes to AI is that AI is a wild animal. If you do not put cages around it in your business, it will go around and destroy everything. It's like Tasmanian devil. So the first thing to understand about the technical components of what you need to know about AI is that you have to create the cage around it. And that can be with the execution of the AI itself, or when the AI is building the workflows, how do you create a process that you essentially can save and then delete or revert back to something previously so it just doesn't go off the rails. If you've worked with AI for any given amount of time, I'm sure you've experienced it to where you started in one spot and then you iterated and then you ended up like in a totally different world. And now it's pattern matching based off of all the context that you've given it after your initial starting thread, and it has totally lost the plot. That is something that happens all the time. It is so frustrating when it's starting to just iterate off of the feedback and you're giving it feedback, trying to get it to go back to, an original seed that you planted, and it just can't seem to get its head out of its own butt. And it will happen. So back to what I was saying is that you need to understand how to contain the wild animal within the workflow that you'll be executing. And you do that with harnessing it around code, which AI is very good at making. Or you need to create a filing system, also known as Git, that allows you to save your work, roll back your work, branch off your work, and then bring it back into your work. So that way you have a way to maintain your sanity when you're building with AI, because when you first start building with it, it is going to drive you crazy. You're going to experience this journey, which is going to be, whoa, this is the most amazing tool ever. And you're going to be mind blowing. And then you're going to start kind of getting into the details of what it's giving you. And because you're an expert at what you do, you're going to start to see that it is very confidently wrong. It's like a light socket. When you look at a light socket and you think you see a smiling face, and then you just look at it and realize, oh, it's just a light socket. That's AI for you all day long. Another thing with AI that you have to realize is if you're not very specific with the documentation that you give it, it's going to synthesize it and kind of just figure out the key points, and it'll spit back a non-nuanced response to something that might have a lot of nuance in it. The way that I would explain this, it's like ending explain videos. I don't know if you watch those, but I really like horror movies. My wife hates them, so I don't get to watch them very often. So I usually go on YouTube and I watch like the ending explained videos of horror movies because it's just way easier and it makes me feel like I get caught up. But every once in a while, I actually see the movie and I realize there is so much more nuance and art in some of these horror movies than those ending explained videos demonstrate. AI is the ending explained video to all the nuance and details and character of the original. So if you don't fully understand the nuance of context that you're trying to get out of the AI, then it's going to lead you astray and you're going to get stuff that's just kind of boring and bland and probably wrong. Same goes for coding. Now with coding, because it is a bit more black and white, it either works or it doesn't work, you can get away with the iteration, the back and forth, and working out the bugs. More so than I would say like in a creative endeavor of trying to, develop, landing page copy or, even writing stuff on LinkedIn. If you notice now, all of LinkedIn posts kind of sound all the same, and writing emails. You can get away with using AI. It takes a little bit of training and back and forth, and again, putting the guardrails around the LLM to make sure that it's outputting in a way that's natural to you, but it takes your expertise to make that happen. Okay, so then what is the real skill? And really it's a process of learning and iteration and not being afraid to just ask it and to keep asking it and ask it crazy questions. Ask it about the meaning of life and the meaning of its own existence, and it will engage you. It's not ever going to tell you that you're dumb. It just won't. It will always be like, oh, it's such a thoughtful wonderful question you're thinking. You must be super insightful, and everyone in your life must just absolutely love you and think you're so interesting. And I'm sure your wife just is always so excited to listen to you about your business and your ideas and the things that happen during your day and the things you are excited about for the future and the ways you're going to expand your business. I'm sure she's just thinking you're the best, aren't you? And I don't mean to be condescending, but that's what it will do to you. So just beware. And when it gets that way, compact, its context and its memory window is getting too much. You got to just wipe it and let it kind of reboot its brain a little bit, and it'll get a little better for you. But what are the 3 real skills in being able to do this yourself, to not have to be a computer science engineer to build workflows that work in your business and make your life super easy? Well, the first one is that you just need to know that you've already learned the hard part, which is your business, which is your expertise, which is how you deliver value to the market. How do you get people to actually give you money for something? That's the hardest thing. Once you know that, it's just pulling apart the pieces and understanding what racetrack does your business live on, and then creating the stop points that give you the value and then automating that. So let me just back up here and explain that a little bit. Automation, all it is a relay race. You have one baton and someone runs it, goes to somebody else, passes the baton, they run it, they pass the baton, and they run it and they finish the race. That's all an automation is. With AI, there happens to be a part in there that can say, oh, good job, thank you for giving me this baton. I'm really excited that you ran really fast and I'm so happy that you are my teammate. Couldn't do that with traditional code. Well, you could pass along a message like that was static, but this one could be more personal. Like, hey, Brad, you did a really good job running there, and I really like your Nike shoes, and your hands are very sweaty and clammy, and you made this baton very wet. I'll take it from here. I'm sorry, but you need to understand what race you're in, and you need to understand your track. And if you don't understand your track, if you don't really know or how to explain how to get from point A to point B and what your standard operating procedures are, well, you need to figure that out. But my guess is you do know it in your brain. So just speak it out. You don't even need to fully understand it. Again, you can just talk to AI and say, this is what I do. This is the steps that potential customers take and how they come to me and how I engage them and turn them into a client. And it will iterate back and forth to you and probably break the steps out and then give you a way to automate it. Will the automation work right at the gate? Probably not, but you can start to have that conversation and start to see what it's telling you to do, because it's usually pretty right in that regard. It surprisingly understands black and white things very well. Nuance stuff, not so much. That's where your expertise is actually the hardest part. So baton race, know your track, know where the baton is supposed to go, get that laid out, get that to the LLM, have them automate it, rinse, repeat. And the second real skill, and this is something I already touched on, is can you talk about your business? Think about your friends, or think about going to coffee, or think about your coworkers. All these conversations, with their permission, you should be recording. Record them. And then again, just feed them to a chatbot and have it pull out the workflows or the frustrations or the things you might not even be cognitive that you're actually saying in conversations. And it'll pull it all out for you and give it to you laid out. Like, maybe you don't need to do this thing anymore. Maybe cut this out. Maybe this is not the most efficient way to do this particular process. Maybe you need to automate this thing over here. And you can start to have those conversations, and then you can have it create a plan, and then you can have it, do step by step, show you how to automate your business. Simple as that. And the third real skill would be to not put any boundaries or sensors on yourself. You have to be curious. You have to allow yourself to ask stupid questions. Also ask questions to the things you already know and have it explained to you in a way that you haven't had it explained to you anymore. It will help you understand things in a better and more reasonable light. You could ask it about your business, or ask it, how do I make a table? I don't know, just ask questions, allow yourself to feel stupid because, again, it's not going to critique you. It's going to think you're pretty great. And that's a bug and a feature when it comes to AI, because if you're having a bad day, you'll think you have the best ideas in the world. But again, expertise, sense check, because oftentimes the ideas it gives you, they're rough drafts. So can you build AI automations and work with AI agents and do it yourself with no technical background? Absolutely, you can. There are steps that you do need to learn. I'm not going to say that doesn't mean there's no effort. There's going to be trial and error. There's going to be things that are frustrating. You're going to want to pick up your computer and throw it across the room every once in a while because it just gets things wrong. You just get fatigued. You stop critiquing what it gives you and you kind of just go with it. And before you know it, you're in la la land, and it's just, you're like, you have to burn it all down and start over. But the thing that I want to just really iterate with you when it comes to developing with AI that I think will really take a weight off your shoulders if you've been thinking about, jumping in but overwhelmed, is that you're not learning how to build an engine. You're just learning how to drive a car. When you learned how to drive a car, they didn't have you sit down with a mechanic and learn every little piece of the car and how it works. You just get in and you just turn the car on, and then you have someone that shows you how to drive the car. And that's all learning how to work with AI is. It's learning how to drive the car. You don't need to really understand all of the technical details underneath the hood. You will need to know how to troubleshoot things when it does break, but AI is good at troubleshooting as well. And the more you learn, the more you become intuitive on the things that are breaking, the faster you will become. But you're just learning how to drive the car. So don't think that you need to understand all the technical components. You do not. You just need to learn how to drive the car. You got to realize that when you're building AI and AI solutions for your business, and when you're doing it yourself and you're not offloading it to like an agency, is that you aren't becoming the IT department. You really should be thinking about this as something that you can monitor and check in on like it's an employee. Once it starts working and doing its thing, because of the way that workflow and automations work, is that you're building out code that should be deterministic in nature, that then has a little bit of AI within the middle of it, and that it should work. Once it's working, it's unlikely to break, at least right away, unless if you have a bunch of users all of a sudden triggering it and then it gets all backed up, or something within the mechanics changes. Maybe you have a particular API key, which is like a little key to another platform. So let's say you have your house and your neighbor said, hey, you can come use my laundry. Here's a key, but it only opens the garage to get to the laundry. That's like an API key. You might be able to have access to other software, but you have only certain access and you can use their facilities for whatever it is that you need. But maybe that key breaks or it gets changed, it changed the locks. Then your automation will break. It's not common, but it will happen eventually and things drift. So it really is just about understanding the components of where it will break and then being able to monitor when they do break and then understanding how to fix it. You don't need to be like an IT professional. All right, so you might be feeling kind of excited right now or maybe still a little overwhelmed and you're wondering, can I actually do this? And my answer to you is you absolutely can. And you can learn it on your own by going to a chatbot and doing what I suggested earlier, which is just talk to it about your day and your business and your work week and your frustrations and your dreams and everything, and have it lay out a plan and an automation plan and see what it says, and you can learn that way. Or you could go into the link in the show notes here. It's going to be the 5-day AI sprint where I show you how to use AI to build actual things that you own and processes that you can repeat. And the way that we do that is by building a website. Now, you may already have a website, and that's totally fine. The reason why I like websites, though, is because one, it's technical in nature. You have to have some kind of technical expertise. You will need to plug into APIs. You'll also learn how to plug into MCPs, which is very, very big when it comes to AI and automation and AI agents. And it also has the creative component. You need to make your website look nice. You need to have good words on it that make people engage and want to take the next steps. So you have both the technical and you have the creative. So you're going to learn how to work with AI to do both. And on top of that, you're building a website that's going to be built off of tools that cost pretty much nothing, but you're going to see AI go to work and build a website that I guarantee you is going to look much better than the website you currently have. And then you'd be able to migrate your website and save all the costs. So if you're paying for hosting, if you're paying for like a Squarespace or a Wix, if you're paying for WordPress plugins, whatever it may be, you might even be paying a web designer. You won't need to pay for those anymore after going through the 5-day AI challenge. But the best thing about it is that you're actually learning the systems that I talked about, the Git systems, the ability to save your work, to be able to roll back your work, to be able to branch off your work so you're not breaking things that you like, and getting the ability to harness AI in a way that's repeatable and you'll be able to build and expand upon. And the best thing is that I give you the engine. So you just get the engine. You don't even have to build the engine. You just get the engine, and then you get to play with the engine and make the engine yours. And then at the end of day 5, you'll have a new website, and you're going to know how to run an engine. You're going to know how to drive the car. You're going to be able to drive the car. And so if that sounds interesting to you, just go in the description below and go check out the webpage and go read more about it. It's going to change the way that you view AI. You're not going to feel behind when it comes to AI agents anymore. You're going to learn that most of it's hype and marketing jargon that you just don't need to pay attention to. And it's going to make you feel really confident in being able to take control over your business, get your time back, make more money, and also your employees are going to love you for it because you're going to remove the friction that probably drives them crazy, and you're just going to have a more efficient operation, and it's just going to be awesome. So go check it out. So let me know what was the big aha moment for you in the comments below, as well as what happened when you went and talked to a AI chatbot, and what did it tell you about automating your business? Did it tell you what a wonderful idea and go down a rabbit hole? Did it push back at all? I would love to know. So let me know in the comments. And again, you can do this. Check out the 5-day AI sprint in the show notes below. It will change the way that you operate, guaranteed. And I'll see you on the next one.